Welcome, time travelers. We're back with our story and our history, actually, in our Knights Templar. And so far, we know that in the medieval world, the Knights Templar were a force unlike any other. A brotherhood of warrior monks whose reputation echoed far beyond the battlefields of the Holy Land. But how did their enemies, the Muslim forces they fought against, view them? If there's one thing you want to know about a group, particular group of people, or a ancient population, you just can ask their enemies and have their perception, their point of view. How did the Muslims view the Templars? This is a fascinating question with a complex, layered answer. To their Muslim adversaries, Arabs, Turks, and others, the Templars were both feared and respected, hated, and in some surprising moments, they were even admired. There's no doubt the Templars were formidable, a key pillar of the Kingdom of Jerusalem's army. They were often seen as the most dangerous fighters on the Christian side, and Muslim commanders viewed their unyielding dedication as a kind of extremism, making them more threatening than any other crusaders. This perception crystallized after the catastrophic Battle of Hattin in 1187, when Saladin, the legendary Muslim leader, crushed the army of King Guy of Lusignan. Saladin admired even in medieval Europe for his chivalry, captured the king and many of his knights. He negotiated with his Christian prisoners and eventually released most of them, but not the Templars. He ordered their execution, seeing them as too dangerous to spare, especially since they refused to convert or negotiate. Their beheadings underscore their reputation as relentless, uncompromising fighters. Yet, the fearsome image of the Templars is only part of the story. A remarkable source, the memoirs of Usama ibn Munkid, a 12th century Arab emir of Shaizar, offers a more nuanced perspective. Usama spent his life alternating between battling the Franks, the Muslim terms for the Crusaders, and negotiating with them during periods of truce. He frequently visited Jerusalem, then under Crusader control, to conduct business or diplomacy. In his writing, Usama notes that among all the barbaric infidels who had descended on the region, the Templars were surprisingly the least objectionable. Unlike the newly arrived European crusaders, often brash, intolerant, and ignorant of local customs, the Templars had lived in the Holy Land long enough to understand its rhythms. They recognized that periods of war were often followed by periods of coexistence, and they adapted to that reality. One vivid anecdote from Usama captures this dynamic. While visiting Jerusalem, the Templars allowed him to pray in the Al Aqsa Mosque, which they had repurposed as their headquarters. As a Muslim, Usama prayed facing Mecca, but a newly arrived crusader, unfamiliar with Islamic practices, was outraged and tried to forcibly redirect him, just to move him. The Templars stepped in, removed the troublemaker, and apologized to Usama, explaining he's new here, he doesn't understand your ways. This moment of cultural sensitivity from such fierce warriors reveals their pragmatic side. They weren't just soldiers, they were seasoned residents of a complex multicultural world. Even so, their skill in battle made them a constant target for their enemies. Muslim commanders consistently singled out the Templars as the most lethal troops in the Crusader states, a reputation cemented by their disciplined formation and relentless training. After battles, captured Templars were often executed rather than ransomed, a grim testament to how much their enemies feared letting them live. They were seen as a standing threat, too skilled and too dedicated to be left unchecked. Their fearsome reputation on the battlefield didn't just earn them the respect of allies and enemies, it opened the floodgates of wealth. As William of Tyre, the 12th century archbishop, a chronicler, observed, "There is not a province in the whole Christian world which has not given property to this order, so that they may be said to have possessions equal to those of kings." Their military valor and religious devotion became the foundation of a financial empire. Nobles, bishops, and monarchs across Europe donated land, money, and privileges to the Templars, believing their cause as righteous and their discipline as incorruptible. Beyond their military role, the Templars' image as financial giants added another layer to their reputation. Some might wonder, were the Templars the precursors of two modern banks? The answer is yes, but not in the way you might expect. The real profiteers of the Crusades were mostly and often Italian merchants from Pisa, Pisans, Genoese, and Venetians, whose war galleys and cargo fleets kept the Holy Land connected to Europe and also supplied. The Templars didn't set out to chase wealth. Their vows committed them to fighting and dying for their faith. But as donations poured in, their coffers grew. By the late 12th century, their financial empire had grown to rival monarchs, fueled by gifts and managed with precision. European kings, recognizing their skill in handling money securely, began appointing Templars as royal treasurers. This pulled them into the financial machinery of the Crusades, a role that would later haunt them. Their wealth wasn't just gold stashed in vaults, while their central treasury in Jerusalem held precious metals and materials and relics. Their economic empire stretched far beyond. They raised sheep, grew crops, traded textiles, ran tile factories, and operated water mills. Well, you might imagine why this order, that is mostly recognized as an order of fighters, was involved in such many other wealthy endeavors. Well, if there was a way to generate income, the Templars were in on it. Donations fueled an ever-growing network of estates. 141 properties across England and Wales alone, managed with a sharp eye for profit. From Scotland to southern Italy and Christian Spain, their wealth often surpassed that of many monarchs. They built massive fortresses in the east and managed royal treasuries in the west, creating a sophisticated financial system that kept crusading armies supplied and moving. By the mid 12th century, the Templars were at the heart of the Latin states, Jerusalem, Antioch, and Tripoli, struggling to hold their Mediterranean footholds against increasingly powerful enemies and in constant warfare. The Templars, though, stood out. White robed knights with red crosses, both monks and soldiers, answering directly to the Pope. As we know, founded in the early 1100s, their mission was to protect Christian pilgrims, but within 3 decades they had become celebrities among Europe's kings and commoners alike. Unlike the often arrogant knights of the era who might charge recklessly or defy orders, the Templars were disciplined professionals. Their monastic vows instilled restraints, while regular training honed their skills. They fought in tight, organized formation, not for glory, but for duty, led by grand masters like Hugh de Pan, the order's founder, and later Robert de Craon, Everard de Bar, and Bernard de Tremblay. They became a cornerstone of Crusader armies. One defining moment came in 1153 at the Battle of Ascalon, a Muslim stronghold threatening Jerusalem's southern border. For 5 months, the Crusader army, bolstered by hundreds of Templars, laid siege to the city. The assault was faltering, and commanders debated abandoning it. Then the Templars, led by Grandmaster Bernard de Tremblay, charged through a breach in the walls. Around 40 knights were surrounded and killed. Though costly, their bold action helped rally the Crusaders, securing Ascalon for the Christians. The battle cemented their fame as fearless defenders of the Holy Land. The Second Crusade, as we've seen in the previous episode, gave the Templars recognition, and the victories like Ascalon propelled the Templars' legend. In the late 12th century, they were indispensable to the Crusader states. Their disciplined ranks and financial ability was setting them apart. To their Muslim foes, they were a paradox, fearsome warriors who could be pragmatic neighbors, uncompromising zealots who sometimes showed unexpected respect for their customs. This later reputation, part myth, part reality, made the Templars one of history's most enduring enigmas. Were they villains, heroes, or something in between? Perhaps, like all enduring legends, they were a mirror reflecting the fears, values, and contradictions of the world around them. Well, this ends our episode. I really hope you are enjoying this series, and I will see you next time for episode 7. Thank you very much.